happen eventually, and I'm just built up foundations, and that is a good context. That kind of yeah. And that's a step that needs to happen before so much information gathering. That's such an important, you know. Oh, it's just itching.
Work session in the town council meeting yesterday, so
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Camped out.
Who's sitting here?
Oh, this is all just oh, there.
There, I'm like,
No,
there's
no.
a little packet.
I think Eddie may have gotten here earlier because I think that's what he sent in the
Oh.
email earlier today for
Okay.
Craig's.
Is this his, oh yeah, this is, look at him, so profesh.
No, I think we got a big job ahead of us today because I think there's a lot of ways we can go on this conversation. And
Yeah.
I think 7 o'clock's kind of the natural
Cut off.
cutoff point, so I want us to be wary and effective.
Yeah,
I'll talk about this briefly.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna insert myself into the meeting at all, but one of the things that
We will insert you into.
town council has been wanting us to do a business survey. Town staff are not business,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we had asked about a year or so ago if EDAC could develop a survey, help us with that. but
Oh, okay.
Council, that hadn't happened, so I took a stab at it and I want feedback on it, and if that's not.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do it.
Mountain Dreamers.
that's, we can incorporate
Hey,
it.
Rich.
Yes, how much time do you think we should put into the pledge conversation?
5 minutes.
Okay. Just, yeah, give a chance for everyone to review and if everyone feels comfortable. Just,
I mean, I think it is basically what I've always assumed we
Yeah.
were doing. So I think it's just
just have
our
something.
way of saying to council and members,
This is how we approach it as a group.
yeah, this is how we look at this position.
Cool.
Good, how are you?
Oh, many things, but mostly.
Doing
How we doing?
good.
That's-
Yeah.
No, he's in deep from last night. Sit over here.
Cool. You're good. You're very good at keeping us moving along. So, appreciate it. Thank you for doing that.
Was it a pretty difficult project to kind of get all this information? Old school canvas, I know.
Time consuming. Yeah.
Guys.
Wow. This is-
And like for this survey, like You have a list that you could just send this out to every business owner, like every business license owner. Yeah. The big thing would be try to make sure it's out there for them to be aware of it, because I just feeling like I just had to dig up a couple of emails I lost track of, so I mean, get them to engage and be the fun part. That's-
That should be fun.
And this part is what Mountain Dreamers you had a discussion with, and kind of how they wanted to tie, what they think may be useful from that business survey.
Right.
Say, I do know at least one other EDAC member is gonna show up in person, so another 5 minutes before we do kick it off. So Sean said he was gonna call in. So he's already on the way. Yeah.
So official.
This is something that we put together.
Eddie?
Yep.
Nice.
He's got. Yeah, this is something together. Thank you. Oh, I think that was old Eddie. I'm not gonna take the credit for it. Okay. I printed something out for everyone and I left it at home, so did the exact opposite of this. Hey, Jessica.
How are you?
How you doing? Well, Scott, I forgot to ask, what would be the best way for you to talk about the EDAC applicants to kind of review it? Do we have a fair virtually or?
Were you able to pull those up? The applicants, letters, I think you can get them there. Mark sheet. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Ned. Or it's actually, it's on the agenda, actually. It's just a link to press, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Yes. And Eddie's here, Sean's online. Has anyone heard from Dave?
No.
I did get a bounce back email saying that he was out of town, so.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Probably is on the chat.
All right, well, let's call to order, I can kick off this, EDAC meeting on, July 8th, 2026. Let's do a quick roll call. Scott, if you could just, start for us.
Scott Downen,
Jessica Taylor.
Allison Johnston.
Eddie O'Brien,
Andrew Awashko.
Rachel Tyne.
I think we also have, Sean Ugrin online as well. To start off the meeting, we would like to start out with some updates, quick updates from our town staff on just any items. I know we have it in citizen guest comments. I know we had a brief discussion, Scott, about just business incentives and signage. And I think several EDAC members just wanted a quick update, just so we're aware and we, keep that discussion moving forward for today's meeting.
I'm gonna let Ned and Evan update on signage. We're still reviewing, so there was a request to add the sign improvements to the incentive program. And so Ned and I had a status meeting last week with the attorney, and that's still in process, still under review. So I don't have anything new to report other than we were looking to add that to the incentive program. So that's underway. Ned, do you want to talk about signage a little?
Yeah, with Ned West, senior planner. With regard to the town center signs, the sale signs along the interior of Lake Dillon Drive, adjacent to the town center, I believe the painting has been completed. We have under contract to get the signs manufactured, so they're in production. I'm hoping we get those within a couple of weeks and get them installed. We did go with just general call outs for the basics of business activity in the town center, as well as highlighting that there's public parking there. We're also updating the Lake Dillon Drive median signs. They're very old. So we're doing a kind of just a low dollar effort this year, as we don't really know, what the future might bring. So we're just doing vinyl overlays on those signs just to spruce them up and update some information on them. One of the comments is there's not even a sign that says the lake shore or something like that. So that's one of the signs we'll have on that. So we're also getting those made. So we have two different contracts for those. The west entry sign, the LED sign down by Christie Sports, is kind of an unfortunate tale of installation. We've really been frustrated with the installation process. It was supposed to be essentially a remove and replace in a day and a half kind of project, and it has certainly turned out to be much more than that. We hope to be online very soon. Those signs will be much higher resolution, the new ones. So not only are we dealing with the problems with some of the failing pixels that we add, we're getting much higher resolution. So but that's kind of where things stand. With the front entry signs, I'm still getting various concepts together from various sign makers as to what might go there, but I'm understanding there's may not be budget to do anything with that this year.
We are trying to clean those up as best we can.
Yeah.
Doing some weeding and stuff around it to make it more attractive, especially since the marquee is being used, which is awesome.
That looks great. Yeah.
Good to see, but now that the marquee is being used, there's a little more focus on the sign and you're like, oh my God.
And one of the ideas, if we can, at a low dollar approach, is just some general signage. There's those 4 panels above the marquee, and if we could just get something that indicates Dillon Marina, Dillon Amphitheater, Town Center, things that are more general, just to say, hey, there's a town in here, and there's things that can be done. And but they're pretty brittle right now, so we don't know if we're going to be able to do that. So I'm still getting that evaluated.
Well, thank you for those updates. I don't know if any of us have any follow-up questions for those.
I just make a comment. It's so great to finally see it happening and to see the sale signs, SAIL signs. The young woman that was up on the heavy equipment, I mean, she painted the frames, she painted the sails, and she did a bunch of work on that. And I just really appreciated it, seeing it all happen. They really look good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. I was going through some previous notes from our meetings, and we started this sign discussion back in October of
In October,
2025.
actually 7 years ago.
And so for you guys to step up to this level, I think it's really appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was
It-
finding some easy wins. The suggestion to paint the sale signs is a good one like that. It kind of carries a path forward. Obviously, the front entry signs has been, as Eddie's mentioned, been batted around with council multiple times over the years and can never reach a consensus. But again, I think we're trying to find that easy one. Like, well, if we're not going to do an LED, if we're not going to tear them down, let's do something. you know, that doesn't really impact our budget and it makes progress.
It's being
Thank-
appreciated by a lot of folks.
Oh,
Thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you very much for doing that.
Awesome. Well, before we go into EDAC applicants, we do have an opportunity for citizen comments. Doesn't look like we have anyone. Oh, we do have, Carrie. Yeah, so we will open it up for 3 minutes and, Jonathan, just let us know when her time starts.
All right, Carrie, you're on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, good. I don't know why my camera is not working. Oh, wait, a new computer today. It's been very frustrating. Oh, geez. Well, I guess the new computer isn't. Well, you can hear me. Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Dawn Solner. I live at Lake Cliff, and I represent about 25 people that are mostly at Lake Cliff and beyond, neighbors of Dillon Amphitheater. Most of us, not myself, but most people have owned for 10 to 35 years. So they've been there for a long, long time. For the past 3 years, we've sent dozens of letters, public testimony, trying to work with the town-run amphitheater to do some very industry standard things. I personally, between all of us, we've been at every work session and every council meeting for the past year. So I know many of you are expecting and have children, and I just want to let you guys know that the town is basically making 50 to 70 units a place that you cannot have children, especially babies. But there are solutions. I'm a senior event planner. I've worked with sound mitigation before, and it's just so surprising to us that the town isn't doing anything industry standard to work with sound mitigation. 2 acoustic engineers have written to the town offering their services, which are $4,000 to $10,000. Yet we recently approved a taxpayer $345,000 new lighting system. And we are doing sound mitigation for the pickleball courts. Anyways, unlike all other amphitheaters, the town has completely exempted themselves from any decibel maximum limit. During the Lane 8 show, we had 113 decibels in our home. I have kids, luckily.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Carrie, we lost you for a quick second. Let's give it another 10 seconds. Anything on your end that you see or?
No.
Oh, there you are.
Nope.
I don't know
Oh,
what happened.
yes.
I don't think it was on my end. Anyways, back to the finances, because I know this is the economic committee. I read the entire 77-page audit that was produced yesterday at the council, and you can read it for yourself. But basically, the amphitheater accounts for 35% of the town's revenue and 33.5% of the expenses. And I don't think this includes police overtime, event staff, marketing, or other related costs. I have a neighbor that has tried to rent her place multiple times. She's been an owner 20 years. Everyone comes during a sound check. She cannot rent her unit, and she is a caterer in Breckenridge, and she needs to rent her lock off. It would be different if we could say to potential renters, like, the town is working closely with us. They're working on reasonable limits for frequency breaks, total hours of amplified sound. Unfortunately, we just can't say any of that. The town has not meaningfully engaged with the residents most affected or consulted with any independent acoustic engineers that do this work. It's not a private venue, guys. This is a town-run, taxpayer-funded facility that should operate with transparency and public accountability. We really don't know what else to do. Luckily, of those 70 units, there's 1,300 units in Dillon, so the town is almost making 10% of them unlivable. You can't live there full time.
Carrie,
Okay, thank you
I'm
so
sorry,
much.
Of course, and thank you so much for your information. We currently are not discussing anything about the amphitheater on today's meeting, but we are continuing gathering information, and we really appreciate you sharing your perspective and the group that you're representing.
Thanks, Andre.
So
Have a
thank you.
great day.
Citizen comments online? No. Any in the public? Well, then I say, let's move to the next item on our agenda, which is about our vacant EDAC position. And we have 3 applicants that applied. So I'll open this up to the group on how we want to approach this because for context, again, kind of to ground ourselves that town council will be reviewing the applicants next town council session, and then they will be electing that member, that item. We do have the 3 applicants' information on the agenda. We do want to spend any time discussing. I am open to it, but I know we are also have several other items, so I want us to be wary of time. So I'll open up to the floor and kind of see how we want to approach this conversation.
We have an applicant present, right?
Yep.
What's your name again? Ariel. Are you guys sisters?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Officially, for the record.
For the record.
So I would say, since Ariel's present, I don't know if we have anybody else online, but are you guys open to hearing from Ariel?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
She's here.
And,
We can
and I
treat-
do have another comment too. Let's listen to Ariel first.
Absolutely. Let's start with that. I think maybe we can
Yeah.
just keep it confined to 3 minutes, kind of like a citizen comments. And I think that's what we all had at
Yeah.
our interview. And maybe this would be good practice for your your second interview
Oh, yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Ariel Johnston. I am one of the owners of Everything Colorado, located in Dillon Ridge. I want to be on EDAC because I feel like it's a good opportunity for me to get more involved with the community and understand
Zoom this side in.
what the town needs and wants. And I like the idea where, the town council needs help. EDAC was formed, Dillon Business Club was formed, and bringing together the community to have a forum of people to get our together. And my sister and I own 4 businesses in the county. So we have businesses in Copper, Frisco, Silverthorne, and Dillon. So we talk to customers on the ground, mostly in the community, and we have direct sales differences. I think that we have data, quantitative and qualitative, that is useful for the town of Dillon. I personally am very invested in Dillon. I grew up in Summit Cove, so I care about Dillon from the core of who I am. And I am compassionate towards people like Carrie that want solutions for the amphitheater. But I'm also a music lover and I love the amphitheater and I think it's better than Red Rocks. So I think we need to figure out, where that middle ground is. I also learned how to sail last year on Lake Dillon. So I am heavily involved in the community. We have vendors from the farmer's market. So if you find someone that loves Dillon more than me, they're lying.
So tell me about the location that you have in Dillon.
So yeah, our location is right next to Chimayo's and Jimmy John's in Dillon Ridge. We have been there for 8.5 years and we have 1.5 years left on our lease and our Dillon location is struggling. Part of me thinks that I should just be the mama bird and push it out the nest and have it, go die on the sidewalk. But, I can't do that. I just really want to save that business and I'm trying my best to do something about it. Our business in Silverthorne that has a banner as a sign is doing 40% better than our business in Dillon. Our Dillon business has far more marketing. It has 8.5 years in the community. It's a flagship shop. So it makes you go, what is going on? Why is this business doing so poorly when it's done really well before? So I think that I have a real understanding of what it feels like to do really well in this town and also to watch your business slip. And maybe Dillon's not a town for the tourists. Maybe it is a service-based town, but in my opinion, maybe for the next 10 years, it'll be service-based, and then eventually someone with more money is going to come in, buy the whole town, and then no one will have a voice. So I think we'd all rather have a voice and decide where we want to go than be told.
So Ariel's business is in one of our three economic locations. So I think that counts. And she's operating for 10 years. So I'm just giving my positive comment.
Thank you.
And I think you're obviously aware of what commitments we all make as EDAC members, and this is all volunteer time, and yeah, just want to make sure you know what you're signing up for. But we've seen you here, so I think you know what you've signed up for.
Yeah.
Or,
My sister's
sorry.
been on planning and zoning for a long time, so I know that she's been committed to those meetings. I also think it's a good learning opportunity for myself. I've been attending board meetings at Copper because I feel the same way about Copper. And so it's been interesting to see and just learn from the inside out. I feel like you can't complain unless you're a part of it, because you need to know what you're complaining about.
So
Very
Ariel,
good, Val.
I have a question for you. There's no doubt that your skills and your business sense and everything is wonderful. And we've seen you around all the time, you and your sister. My question to you would be is, as a voter of the town of Dillon, how do you think people would feel if we brought another family member into EDAC and planning and zoning?
Yeah, I think that is open to discussion. I think Allison was open to seeing if another member of planning and zoning wants to come on, if that is a problem. So as long as people think that's okay, I want to help. I want to be a part of the conversation, and I have the energy and the desire. And so does she.
Yeah, I mean, I can address it too. We work together, but if you know us, Ariel and I are the exact opposites. So
True.
it's not going to be a case of we always agree and we don't always disagree. We are sisters, and we can treat each other with respect and work well together. It's been 8 long years and we're still friends. We still enjoy spending time together. She's also stepped up in Copper with the Metro District and getting involved with their local groups. There's a couple of them. Hard to keep
Soon
track.
there's only one.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
they're consolidating. But yeah, I can speak. Obviously, that's an elephant in the room, but we've never had an issue working together. We have different personalities, different opinions, different takes. And I wouldn't have a problem working with it. I won't speak for the other people because I don't know them. But I'm happy to recuse myself if I get a vote or if that's an issue. But yeah, and then planning, zoning, we have 4 other members. So if somebody wants to take my spot, that's fine too. I am the most senior member though, just so you're aware.
Well,
I'll still be
appreciate-
involved
Thank
either
you.
way.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you addressing that head on.
I
So,
agree.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I guess I have a quick question. Ariel, I think you do a phenomenal job, and I've watched you market and really try to grow your business in Dillon. But I guess as a whole, I guess my question would be, what do you believe are our 3 biggest challenges in Dillon that we're facing? And where do you think we can go and grow in the next 5 to 10 years to really help bring in businesses and keep businesses?
Yeah. I think the number one problem is that the people of the town vote no on a lot of things and they don't want change. And I think that it makes the town it makes it hard for the town to move forward. Like, I think what Trace did this winter was incredible. And I think we really need to look at that and ask ourselves, what is our identity and where do we want to go? So we need to decide and make moves. 2, I think signage, truly, because better signage, we saw this by and far. Our first day Or we were open for 2 months in 2017, 18, and like barely any sales. The day we got our sign up, our sales like tripled. Like it's duh. We need better signs though, and we need more drawing people in. One, two, I don't know, maybe marketing, I don't think we really have a tourism board in Dillon. I'm not maybe proposing that because I don't know if we have the budget, but I think they need to help their businesses. I think we really need to look at our businesses and ask how we can work with them because they actually care. I've gone around to a lot of businesses and gotten people to care that told me to basically go F myself.
Yeah.
And then they're like, actually, wait a minute. I've seen you a lot. So maybe I should care too.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ariel. That is, yeah, we really, really appreciate all your words and your input.
Thank you.
For our other two applicants, obviously they're not here to speak for themselves right now, and I know we didn't give them a formal opportunity to come in and introduce themselves, so I think out of respect to them, I think if we could all take a moment to review over the next couple of days, those two links for
Yes.
Nicholas and I'm sorry, Kellery.
Yeah.
To read their application, give it some consideration, and then if we as a group do want to recommend for town council to consider one of these applicants for the EDAC position, we can come to an agreement via email and send it into a formal letter to town council before their the next meeting where they'll elect.
Does that work, Scott? Could we do that?
Yes.
Okay. We just,
bear in mind the council still has the privilege to
Sure.
review each candidate.
right.
And that would happen.
And then we would need to, should we get that in the packet, like a letter? If we're gonna make a recommendation.
You're going to make a recommendation, you do submit it to the town clerk.
And we need
She
to
will
do,
include it in the packet.
what is the deadline for that?
The Thursday before the Tuesday meeting,
Okay,
but at noon.
at noon.
Mhm.
So I think we should review the other applicants and then, like you said, Audrey, like via email. Maybe, do you want to initiate like
Yeah.
an email? Okay.
Yeah, I'll
And then-
initiate the email to continue that conversation and see if we do reach a point where we feel comfortable enough recommending one of the applicants.
And then we'll just have,
And Thursday before
if it,
that.
like, probably come from the chair, like you can
Yeah,
prepare a
I'll put
letter, just a
together a
brief letter and say, this is who we recommend by noon on Thursday, whatever that date is, I don't know,
16.
16th.
And I think as a group too, I think it's our responsibility to find ways to engage with these three individuals, especially the ones that, don't make it onto this EDAC board during this time, to continue their engagement because they have shown interest to be part of this group. And those are the people we need to continue to fan those flames for. Well, with that being said, I say let's move on to our next agenda item, which is an EDAC stewardship pledge. This was put together by one of our EDAC members just to kind of have something in writing for all of us to feel comfortable about what our role is and our approach as EDAC members. This is a living, breathing document. We just wanted to take the lead on helping address that question that we've heard on what exactly is EDAC role and its members' roles and responsibilities. So, I want to keep this part as brief as possible, just because I think we have some stuff with a little bit more weight. Eddie, if you want to,
Oh,
if you need
sorry
to
about
take a
that.
quick
Yeah.
look there. I do have a question for our town council representative here. This is something that we put together to help kind of address some of those questions we had in our last one-on-one session with town council during the work session. And we just would love to have a great grounding and just continue moving forward with all our projects and goals. Is there anything that town council would want to see out of this? This is just, I don't see it as a legally binding document, just something that us as members, this is how we approach EDAC.
I mean, I think, if you see.
Yeah, I think that it clarifies that you know, we're not making decisions.
Mhm.
And the town council is, we're giving advice to the town council. We actually have a fiduciary to the town council. And I look at the piece and I see I think it's really clear. As you said, it's not a legal document. I think it's just a comment to where each of us are coming from on the board. And I've been on numerous EDAC boards, and this one's, you know, I've seen a lot of different comments on who we are and what we are. This one's the best one I've seen.
Scott, our acting manager, is there anything we should take into consideration when filling this out?
No, Madam Tyne, I just recommend that you share that with the other elected officials.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So I think as a group, you know, I'm sorry I didn't share with this earlier in the week with everyone. So, you know, everyone review it at their, you know, at whatever time they need. And maybe if we could have the goal, if there's any comments, but maybe if we could all get it signed before our next EDAC meeting, or if there's any adjustments that we feel like we need to make. But yeah, just gonna leave it there and open it up to any comments that any of our members may have or staff may have. Well, let's close that book and open up the next chapter. Let me just read ourselves in our agenda really quick. Seawall discussion. I know we've been discussing this for a while now, and I did just get some more updated information on this. And Ned, if you feel comfortable enough on before we open up the conversation about the request for proposal on the construction of this or the seawall project, what the appropriate operating procedures are for that, tackling that project.
And Scott might be able to help with this as well. We would first need to get a geotechnical study done. That has not been done for the site yet. And then get into design for the actual seawall itself. I think the estimate was around $500,000 to design it. It may have been a little bit less, but so that's probably a 6-month design for that, is my understanding. And council has not elected to move forward with having that design done yet, is my understanding. So I know that I do see what you all envision here. And I just think that unless there's a contractor who is able to do a design build and get it accomplished faster, and if there's a level of comfort for the town with that, I don't know that this can be accomplished on this time frame.
That covers most of it. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, Scott.
I think it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fine for you to make a recommendation that council consider expediting the process. I think that's fine if you want to make that recommendation, but as Ned said, I think we all need to be thoughtful of the time that it takes to actually accomplish that project. With the design, the geotech, the design, and then the actual construction. We know that it's going to take some time for water levels to recover, but if we have a phenomenal snow year, we may be flush come spring. But it doesn't mean that we can't, if this is a priority for this group, making a recommendation to council, I think is fine.
I'll say let's.
And
Yeah.
just real quick, with the low water, it might be a good time to pull the trigger on the geotechnical.
Well, I think that was our whole goal behind this, is the fact that the savings, the cost savings for not having to pull back water currently would really benefit the town in the long run. So
So,
Nick,
I listened to the last meeting. I wasn't present, but I watched it on YouTube, which was really helpful. And you shared a lot of good information in the last meeting, Scott, on how the town plans their budgets well ahead of time and where funds come from. And projects like this are huge. And that you guys may have to budget this for 3 or 5 years down the road. even if you wanted to move forward with this project, like, does the town even have funds to do this, or would we have to go sell bonds to generate the revenue to do a project like this?
We'd have to look at our budget, and we're going to be doing a budget update at the next council meeting, which will, I think, council will have a better picture kind of where we are financially. But for a project like this, we would borrow money to do this. I don't know if it would be bonds or how we would do that, but we would finance this project.
So effectively, today is all we would be out is the design and engineering fees of the approximate $500,000, because either way we do the project, we're going to borrow money. Did I get that right?
Correct. And I think that getting started on the geotech, I think is a great start. I think that would probably be easy, something easy to accomplish this year. We'd have to take a look at design, and council would have to appropriate the funding to do that, because that could be considerable for a $5 million seawall or more. And then council could start to talk about, what does construction look like? When do we want to do that? How are we going to finance that?
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Are there any Denver Water Board issues? Are we pretty clean on that?
Well, I think we would still have an Army Corps issue, because we're talking about
Okay.
expanding the footprint of the area a little bit. So we'd be placing fill in the reservoir. I think we have a handshake with Denver Water. We'd still have to get through them formally, but we really need the formal design for both of those legal actions to be able to move forward. So
Was there an
We'll
estimate?
find out, right?
So Ned, could that
they've
take
always been
longer?
very good partners in general. So
Could that take longer than the design, just dealing with the government entities?
Or they want to see it?
I don't know what the Army Corps is like now. I know we had to work with them on the boat ramp at one point, right? And I think that was pretty smooth. I think the marina manager has a really good relationship with DREC,
Mhm.
Denver Water, and so I think he's able to get things accomplished reasonably there. It's my understanding.
As long as it doesn't involve wetlands, I think it could go pretty smoothly.
Okay.
So can I ask a question? So right now, like as it stands, we don't have any money, we don't have anything budgeted or planned to do this year. But what we're talking about is, because the water is low, to do some of the prep work. But then the money would have to be appropriated because we don't have it budgeted for 2025 or 2026. Okay, just so I understand that. And so what would be the best way for EDAC to make like a recommendation to council on that? Since we're starting the budgeting process.
Yeah, I think just some collaboration on a letter to council from the chair, obviously, and then of course you as the liaison, the council liaison, your voice. I think you can when we start the process of discussing capital, that's the time for you to weigh in and say, hey, when are we going to look at doing this project? But in terms of doing something this year, I would suggest that at our next meeting under council comments that you, maybe this is a subject that you should bring up. If we're looking at maybe getting started on at least the geotech, possibly the design, I think that if you want to bring that up under council comments, I think that would be a great place to do it.
And then as far as like for the 2027 budget, like if EDAC wanted to make like a list of recommendations and, like I think that PrAC does the same thing, right?
They do. Correct.
So like, what is the process for doing that?
So what we do is as we get started in the budget process, specifically, you're going to be looking at two funds. You're going to be looking at Dura and you're going to be looking at capital. And you're going to want to review the existing 5-year plans for both of those funds. And you're going to want to evaluate what projects from that. Now, those are lists, those 5-year plans are lists that have been vetted by council. You may have new ideas that you want to add to it. But as we're working on those two funds, and we can keep you updated on the budget process and when those funds are coming up. And you guys can look at the last, this year's 5 years for both of those. That would be a starting point to work from. And then just making sure that we will keep you apprised of the queue and when those funds are going to be discussed. And then just making sure that you have letters of recommendations for both of those funds.
And would you be able to send to EDAC the 5-year? I mean, I know they can be found somewhere, but just so it's easy for.
They are online.
Yeah. Or maybe just the link to say, this is the 5-year capital projects budget. This is the 5-year Dura budget, so that we can all take a look at that.
Okay.
And probably sooner than later, because we're going to be working on that.
Yep.
pretty
Have
soon.
to.
Thank you. That'd be great.
And I would love to bring the conversation back just for that one low hanging fruit that we could possibly grab this year with the geotech that you're referring to. Could you just provide a little bit more context, just from my personal understanding, in an elevator pitch, what does that process entail, and what is the kind of budget number that you need to accomplish a project like that?
And I don't know a budget. I would estimate it's at least a $50,000
Okay.
geotechnical study and report. What they do is they go out and with a drill rig and obtain soil samples at various depths and also determine the depth to bedrock. And then they provide, they do soil testing in the laboratory, and then they provide a report detailing their recommendations for construction.
And that's something that could be done in winter time or fall?
Quite often that's their preferred time to do
Preferred.
drilling, but when the water's low like this, so yeah, they could get out there after the marina season and do the drilling and start working on the report.
Are there a lot of companies that are available to do that up here in Summit
Yeah,
County?
there are several in the town. We have actually a preferred one that we use. But this might be something we would bid. I don't know. We'd talk to the town engineer on his feelings on that.
And we currently do not have this in the budget, if I'm not mistaken, right? In our discussion for this year.
So that's kind of a ballpark estimate for geotech, and then don't hold us to that because we're usually wrong. But typically design is going to be 10% of the overall project cost. We're looking at $5 to $6 million. You're looking at somewhere between $500 to $600,000
For the design. And that's going to be a 6-month process at least, right? For the design. Yeah. And the geotech could be done in a couple of months or?
Was any of this done for when we did the Marina Master Plan in 2020, or was this just kind of a lofty idea of what we wanted for the marina, out of curiosity?
Yeah, the Marina Master Plan was more of a planning document. So
Okay.
it's a pie in the sky kind of thing. Here's what we wish we could do and hope we could do. And this was what would be really cool.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't do any of the technical aspects of studies or engineering.
The seawall has been on the list for a long time. And of course, we've completed approximately half of that. Funding for that, we self-funded that when we got started on that project. Excuse me, knowing that we had negotiated some funds as a part of the CRCA agreement, which is the Colorado River Cooperative Agreement. So that was a big water agreement that we did. And Denver at the time was, and Northern and Colorado Springs were contemplating more frequent and higher volume Trans Mountain diversions from the west slope to the Front Range. And it's a complicated agreement, and I'm not going to go into all the facets of it, but we negotiated some money from Denver Water as a part of that agreement to help pay for low water marina operations. And so we used that first chunk of money from Denver Water for that, to do half of the seawall. And that seawall, back when we did that was, Scott, did you do that project or was that someone
That was someone.
else? I think we spent $2.1 million at the time, and that was a while ago. Obviously, it's more expensive now.
In your opinion, would any of this seawall, could it be funded by any grants that are possible for this kind of work? I'm not familiar with grant writing.
We could look into that. I guess maybe the one that comes to my mind first would possibly be a DOLA grant.
Yeah, Dollar would be a good one to talk to.
Yeah, I think we can certainly, as we get further along and we're talking about how is the town going to fund this project, I think DOLA would be a great. They've helped us over time with different projects, including a grant for the amphitheater reconstruction.
Yeah, because that would help persuade the council possibly to move in one direction or another
Or at least go for it.
sooner. But at least get our soils done. Something.
Yes. Yeah. But I think getting the initial, getting the drilling going and all that this year, I'm not sure there's anything wrong with that. And if it's hard for me to believe it'd be under 150,000. I mean, I'm seeing single family houses, start ups in getting the same for 25 to 30,000. So I think you're probably closer to 150 or more. But at any rate, there's enough money in the bank to get it done this year. With the water this low, man, what an opportunity.
So is this something that as a group, we kind of want to maybe make a recommendation, or if you want to report to town council directly, that we would love to
No, we're making a recommendation.
an official
Go for it.
recommendation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And clarify the language. Do we want to recommend them to consider pursuing this geotech, put out a bid,
The
right?
first step, yeah.
First step, the first appropriate step would be to put a bid out there and see just what it would cost, and then figuring out where to find that money and take the next steps from there. So.
Yeah, if Rachel, excuse me, if Madam Tyne makes the pitch to council and council approves, then you don't have to find the money. It's our responsibility to find the money.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll try to
Well,
find
I
money
mean,
else.
No,
How
so
often-
yes.
I mean, do we appropriate money whenever we need to? Or is there like certain times?
As long as you have a fund balance,
Right. okay.
Yes.
which, my suggestion is I think that will be more clear to you on the 21st.
Okay.
Well, then,
So I will just make a comment during our committee, well, actually, yeah, during committee updates. That that EDAC would like to see or recommends that that we get some bids for that.
yeah, I say let's make it even more official and make a motion to officially recommend for town council to put bids out there for the geotech project for the Dillon Marina as early as this fall of 2026. Do
Is
we
there
have a second?
I second.
Second.
Motion, Carrie?
Carried over?
Are there any nays? No.
No.
Cool.
No.
So the question I have, Ned,
Say, oh, I happen to actually have the recommendation from EDAC
Mm.
here.
Okay, so I can
think
also
doing
put a
it-
formal written one together.
Yeah.
That carries some weight.
Scott, what do you, yeah.
So I
Ned-
will plan on also having a formal written recommendation.
Great.
To share before that Thursday deadline, before the July 21st meeting. Well, great. I think that's the logical step one to start addressing this and,
So Ned,
oh, sorry, yeah.
question, does the staff have time to get bids right now? Are you guys too busy to do this or what's your schedule like?
Again, I would like to speak with the town engineer. We have again, we have a preferred geotechnical engineer that we work with,
Yeah,
and that might be the preference here. We don't have a procurement policy for
right.
hiring contractors. And so,
Does the town staff is what I'm asking. Does the town staff have time to deal with this? I mean,
I can reach out to
I don't know your
Ian
workload.
tomorrow and find out what he estimates it'll cost.
So
Sounds like a yes. to
what
me.
you're saying is like the
I'm
formal,
swamped, and I can still draft. an
like
email.
the formal RFP process, do you have to go through the formal, or can you just get like an
We can save
informal?
time by not going.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. And we can do that. Like, we don't have to do that, is what you're saying, per our policies or whatever.
Under the direction, under the recommendation of the town manager and the approval of town council, we can sole source
Okay.
any contractor that we prefer. And just like Ned said, making a phone call or sending an email is not hard.
Yeah.
And none of us are geotechnical engineers, so it's not like we're doing the work, they do the work.
Right.
And then they submit a report to us. And then that's the basis of the design that the engineers will work with.
Okay, great.
Anything else about our seawall, or do we continue the conversation from there?
No, well, one quick thing. Do you think that, I mean, you work with this company, this geotech company. Do you think this is something we could potentially have in front of town council for the next meeting? Like, hey, we had them out there, they looked at it. This is, an actual figure to give town council or does that seem like a
Probably-
fast turnover?
Probably
Yes.
not, right? I mean, that's,
Well, you can
it's
ask-
coming up pretty
Ask the
quick.
contractor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably coming on to their schedule.
right.
Fair to ask the question, and
Yeah.
I'll certainly approach it that way. Business people like business.
Right.
so-
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how
This
busy
economy?
they are.
so yeah, let me see what I can do and how quickly I can do it. I mean, so you realize I will be working on the packet next week, right? So it's already that quickly coming. So it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
essentially here.
On a technical basis, what drawings, you guys, the town has all the drawings of what's existing.
And
isn't
what's
it-
curious is we,
And surveys,
in that area of the proposed improvements,
Yeah.
we have very little drawings for the wharf.
yeah, because it's always been underwater for one thing.
Well, I think we're all aligned and I think there's action items to move this process forward. So appreciate everyone's input and efforts in pushing this forward. Moving on to the next item, before we go into item number 6, our town planners have put some information out in front of us. And I know Jonathan has a update for us on what he has here. So I would love to open up to you. And I think this is also a kind of time sensitive item that will go into the discussion for item number 6 on the agenda.
Okay, yeah. First, I have the vacancy study from town council last night. I made a few modifications to it from recommendation from town council. And then I've been working with Mountain Dreamers to try to get some help with our Spanish speaking business community. People don't like when I walk into their business asking for paperwork. It's just a fact. So I've been working with Urena, and she was gonna help be able to go in and possibly do some of that for me and build like a relationship with some of the businesses. That's what they have in Silverthorne, and I'm pretty jealous. So having someone like that would be pretty invaluable to our local business community. And so what I'm working with her on is a survey. And so I have a few questions here, but I was saying for homework, if you guys have any questions you think would be appropriate for that, you're more than welcome to pass those along to me. We also have one from Ned, I know too, that is also survey related. But
And mine is in draft form, even though I formatted it to look like it's ready to go. I would love feedback on it.
Oh, okay.
Am I anywhere near the mark on the questions and the data that we want to collect? Or are there different questions entirely?
I mean, from first glance, looking at it this afternoon, I think this is a fantastic start. I mean, all of this information will be valuable, especially while our business incentive program is still under review and kind of trying to still on the malleable stage that, you know, information we can gather, especially from some of these businesses we have not heard from, you know, since as long as I've been involved in the town of Dillon. I think something that we should run with right now if we can possibly do that.
Yeah.
Ned, are we planning to send this out via email to business owners, or what is our preferred way of getting the information?
Yeah, and I hadn't really figured out how we want to do that. I think we do have emails for businesses through their business licenses, so that would be probably the best way. But we also, even though we get spit on and things, we do walkabouts, and just handing it out might also be something we could do, where we're not asking for paper, we're handing out something and trying to engage. So I think both. And probably posting it on our website as well.
I do think one thing we see, you know, through Dillon Business Club too, is just a location. I don't see where you look, it just kind of says the town, but I think that the town core versus along Highway 6 corridor face different struggles. So I think it would be kind of nice to differentiate and kind of be able to pull apart easily where they're located. Or an address.
And I did focus, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking town center.
Yeah.
And maybe you make a good point, and I need to enable that conveying that to all businesses. And where in town exactly are you?
Yeah, because I mean, I think just speaking from a Dillon Ridge business, you know, our holiday weekend was extremely quiet, you know, so it was, I don't know, we had talked about it at our council meeting when we met, and, you know, we were told, oh, lots of plans for the 4th of July. And it was really quiet for us. So I think there's different struggles through different locations in the town and where the tax revenue comes from. So it would just, I would 100% fill this out and give all my feedback. And I think that there's a lot of people that would, I think just the fact that the town is going and wants to know this information from us is great. So I would just request that maybe we think about Dillon as a whole. And I don't know if when we did put together these town of Dillon vacancy studies, if we did look into where Dillon tax revenue is as a whole, like, do we, you know, consider any of the vacancies in the Dillon Ridge Marketplace or anything along an enemy?
Yeah.
We did. Awesome.
There's all
That's
of
great.
those.
Oh, yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, I see it. Separate.
So is this vacancies for commercial and residential or just commercial?
Just commercial. I'm not a real estate.
That's pretty low vacancy rate,
Mhm.
6%.
It's about as low as,
That's,
it's the lowest in the county by
Yeah.
far.
Mhm. There's just a lot of service-based businesses here,
Mhm.
which is fine. They need space too.
Yeah.
this is powerful information.
Yeah.
Is there a timeline for when you guys want to have this kind of finalized and sent out to businesses and start kind of engaging with them with this survey?
I kind of almost want to put it in your hands. What do you want to do with this? This is something that the council has an interest in driving, but I think it also really belongs with this body.
Mhm.
So that you all can have it and understand what comes in from it and then give recommendations based on it. So, yeah, to me, let's do it as soon as possible is my thought, but.
Yeah, I'll make a comment on it. If we have some assistance with this, I think that's the right direction. And assistance would be just like what we have here, gathering information on vacancies and the businesses and being able to start not only sending out, but getting relationships built with them and getting the names of the people that own the businesses and whatever other information that we can get. We can certainly do some walkabouts, but the most important piece is going to be sending things out and being online. And we're going to need some help on somebody building the online ability and also mailing it.
No, and I absolutely understand
If
that.
if we get that, I
Yes.
think that your answer is, yeah, I think this group and also the the Dillon Business Club could be involved in both of those. And that's a lot more open and it takes the weight off of you.
Yeah, I think we would love to be able to kind of gather this information and present it to council. Cause I mean, yeah, just I think Jonathan, you said it, I can get you the business emails and that would just be, it would be wonderful. And I think it would really show that, we are here for obviously business.
I
So,
mean, so the town would send it out, right? And it would kind of go out like we did the community survey, right?
mhm.
So it's like coming from the town of Dillon, and then we get to kind of look at the results first and then make recommendations.
Yeah, that's my feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell the story, that we have these multiple committees. I mean, towns that are real successful have committees. And we're starting to see that grow.
So do we feel as a group like we would take on the responsibility once this information is gathered, start dissecting it and kind of pull our findings together, see what kind of patterns, trends, what kind of assistance that these businesses are looking for, and then formally kind of present it to town council?
And we can get some help by forming our own committees. So you're looking at this group, now you could double the size of this group with separate committees of other people that are interested in it. And the next thing you know, that really starts gathering information for us, which we turn over to you. And all of a sudden you've got a lot of things going on.
So I would recommend to run with this, send this out. Reviewing these 10 questions a couple times now, I really wouldn't make any changes. I think, as long as we have the information of what business owner and what part of town they're in, we can categorize it ourselves and kind of break those patterns into smaller findings. But I think let's not waste time on this. My only other recommendation would be when communicating with these business owners, whether in person or via email, finding ways to word it where this information is going to be useful for some actionable item. And I think this business incentive program could be a nice actionable item to kind of tie with this survey, just saying that people would be giving their information and that information could help, finalize our business incentive program, which hopefully these business owners may be applying for themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Ned, historically, when we send out these surveys, was it more beneficial to have written comments or ranked comments?
It's easier to analyze data when it's ranked, right?
Mhm.
Open-ended questions, you don't know what you're going to get and it's hard to analyze.
Mhm.
So I appreciate that feedback and I've been contemplating that because really I would like to ultimately format this for an online survey. And yes, we can still hand it out and then input some ourselves, but I don't want to do that for every one of them. But
Yeah, because I think
yeah, so
historically we did both.
yeah.
It's kind of like,
And I think that I think having that mix gives some level of comfort to people because they still have an opportunity to write some of their feelings about things. And then it's easy for them to also just give some rankings.
Yeah.
And then it's quick and easy to,
and help prioritize
yeah.
where to start.
Yeah. So, given that, are there some that you would suggest that I look at more ranking? And I'm sorry, Sean, I should have sent this to you.
He forgives you.
Yeah.
I think you can easily, question number 2, what time of the year is most challenging? I think you can kind of easily make that
So when you come to that, you've got the two closest towns right now are obviously Keystone and Dillon.
Silverthorne.
And they have opposite high times.
Yeah.
And the idea of forming that relationship, man, I got to tell you, that would be one of the more positive things that we could do. I know that's off the plate. It's not on the plate, but boy, I see the two of them the two towns really working close together and the businesses from each of the towns working closer together.
Yeah, and then, yeah, providing more of a segmented data as far as service-based businesses versus, or B2B versus B2C customers, so that we're not trying to solve everyone's problems, but we can segment it out.
Yeah.
Well, we might do the Dillon Town Core and the Lower Dillon as well. Segment that out. Those are two separate.
Yeah,
They
just
are separate.
where are you located? What area do you just define your business as?
Yeah, location 1 or 2 or
Yeah,
whatever.
ranking, which one of these are ranking these, like, what are your biggest issues versus the things you care less about? And then I know last night, John presented this, but something I thought was interesting, I think you said, was that there's a pretty low turnover rate for businesses. So there's,
In,
right?
um,
Or is
so
it
there's
just low?
high turnover in the core area.
Oh, well, the core area, yeah.
Yeah.
But then everywhere else was pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, Dillon Ridge is really low, so I think you might have maybe more serious.
And do we know when the last general survey, if there ever was one with just businesses in the area?
Did we?
I don't
Yeah.
know that there
Recall
has
seeing
been
one.
one actually done. We've done other surveys, more community related,
Yeah.
more expansive.
Yeah,
And that
because
was back in 20.
it could be interesting to find a correlation between there's high turnover rate in the town core, but then they also indicated that maybe there's high rent prices in conjunction with slow traffic, depending on what type of business they are.
Yeah.
But it might be something that's out of our control for why these businesses aren't successful there for whatever reason.
So I pose a question to to the EDAC on, do we want to make time for next month's EDAC meeting to kind of create a survey that we can feel like we get all the information we are looking for? Or is this more time sensitive? Let's put it out there with what we have, which is a fantastic start. And I'd really thank you for this, and get that information and see what kind of hit rate, like how do we feel as a group? Do we want to spend more time kind of creating it together, or do we just want to put it out there? And
I think we put it out there and then I think we keep in communication with our businesses, like, letting them know, like, there will be a follow-up. Thank you for your feedback, like kind of something after they finish the survey, can we contact you? Or something like that, so we can kind of make those relationships. If someone gives us really great feedback, it would be great to be able to grab a coffee with them or chat with them and see what their struggles are. But then I think there should be a follow-up. I think it should be, if it's within the quarter or, I think after coming off the winter season, we probably would have a very different thing to say than maybe we might say after our summer season. So I think we should be checking in with our businesses, their health and their vitality.
Yeah, and we could do like with the Dillon Business Club, like an informal come and have a fireside chat about what issues you're facing.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I
And
think
move
bringing-
that around like.
yeah, like just starting it. And so if someone's like, oh, that must have went to my spam folder. Well, now we can hit them with the next one, or they can at least,
And as we get more feedback, see what questions we actually get, more data, we'll just get better and better as a group on that, and just hopefully get more information for our town to make the best decisions moving forward.
yeah.
I like this survey because it's short.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think that's really important. People lose interest and they don't finish it, and people are busy and they get a million surveys.
Yes.
So keeping it short is really important.
When I haven't studied what John had to incorporate into this.
I
so-
think it slides in.
There were just 2 example
Yeah.
questions.
Okay, and then, of course, we can do it bilingual. I assume we could do other languages, but I don't know if I need to.
And is this something that town staff has the capacity to put out there within the next 30 days?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And if I can work on this individually and try to spruce it up, I can email it to you all and you could give me feedback over the next week. I don't know what would work best for you all. Would that be
Email.
beneficial?
Yeah,
Okay,
I say let's have a deadline by Friday, or today's Wednesday, yeah, by Friday. If anyone has any kind of formal recommendations on there, or do we want a little bit more time as a group?
Yeah, let me email it tomorrow and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
if I could get feedback by, say,
Next
next
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Great.
Okay.
That's
give it
great.
basically a week. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank
And then the goal will be, once you gather that information, EDAC would love to run with that and compile everything and share everything formally in a presentation form at an appropriate time.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And this is a working group. We don't want to just tell you guys, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? We want to work together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just doesn't work. But this is we are a working group, isn't that correct? Look at all the shaking the heads. It's yes.
Speaking of working group, we did have someone try to put their hand up, so would love to give them an opportunity to chime in.
I did want to mention that since you're putting this together, you might want to make a version for the vendors at the farmer's market. I
Huh?
spoke to a vendor recently that didn't renew their space with us this year, and I feel like getting their voice, especially halfway through the season, would be really important because that's a big driver for Dylan.
Okay.
So if you're putting it together, you might be able to like make a farmer's market version.
100%.
Great. Thanks for that.
The farmer's market this year has been really fun. It goes right out my back door. And it's amazing how many people it's brought to town, but it's another situation where they just turn around and leave.
I think this would be great to also Monday when we meet with, Dillon Business Club, kind of have this out and have maybe get some feedback from some of the businesses and just letting them know that this is coming their way. I think that would just create a good buzz too. So.
If there's any way to create like a little QR code or something, I'm sure I'd love to put it on my community board at the coffee shop. We have several of our local business owners, something I could just point to them and say, hey, if you have time, do that. Cause those email folders get really, really busy.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. We'll definitely do
I can
that.
get you that, Andre.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I am planning to attend that meeting on Monday.
great.
So I would love to hear everybody's ideas about improving signage along the Highway 6 corridor. What do I need to do to change the code or what? You guys brainstorm it. I have some thoughts, but
Great.
I really want to
Well, it'd be
hear.
fun to walk with you. Walk along it and really look at it, make sure we don't get hit by anything. Trucks going
You
east,
go first, Eddie.
tank trucks going
He's
east.
just the planner. He's not in charge of security.
And I'd love to bring up one more point because Jonathan, you shared a really fantastic resource. You've been working with Mountain Dreamers and engaging with our Spanish speaking business owners and just business community. What's the timeline? Is this just like a small project that Mountain Dreamers is helping out, or is this something that they're also mutually interested in kind of helping?
Yeah, they actually reached out to me and they're curious about the food truck program, but also just like being more part of the town and offering their services. And I was just like, absolutely,
Yeah.
I'll take whatever you can provide because not having a Spanish speaker on staff is pretty difficult when majority of businesses are Spanish speaking.
Absolutely.
So
And if you want to relay that information, if Irina and her team ever want to, come to an EDAC
Yeah.
meeting in the future, we would love to engage
Yeah.
with them and see how we can coordinate and work together.
yeah, she's gonna actually review the survey questions and make sure she can translate them and then also make sure they're not like doing something we don't want to. So.
And their food truck program interest was they have vendors that may want to.
I think so, but right now we're
Capped
full,
out,
so
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, she was very willing to help in other parts, so yeah, super excited about that.
We all feel great about the survey? Awesome. This is fantastic. This is another actionable item that things are continuing to move forward. So thank you guys for
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
So we have about 50 minutes left on that kind of mental timeline for today's meeting. I think our last point is, a discussion, open discussion to top 5 Dillon economic priorities. And we put that in there to kind of follow up last month's meeting where, Allison, if you could just remind me, there was one top 5 list of this was, I think, the 2020 master plan that 4 out of the top 5 were addressed, and the one that was left open was still a town core, kind of leaving it to another 4 vacant positions, and the mindset was maybe this is an opportunity for us as a group to kind of start filling those spots. I know we all feel like town core is kind of one of the ones at the very top of the list, but maybe for these last 15 minutes, we just kind of have an open discussion on what we all believe should be in that top 5. So that could help drive future agenda meetings for
Yeah.
the second half of the year.
Yeah, it was the 2017 comprehensive plan, and they had ranked it the marina, no, amphitheater, town park, marina. I can't remember number 4, but then number 5 was town core. And the town has basically, I know nothing's finished, everything's a work in progress, but the big projects had been tackled 1 through 4 on that comprehensive agenda items. And so town core kind of was the last one, and it's still waiting.
I'll be happy to send, I'll be happy to send that table from the comp plan to you all.
Well, it was, you look over a year and you go, nothing has changed, but then you look over 10 years and you go, actually, we've accomplished quite a lot.
Yeah.
And so now that these projects are pretty much as complete as they can be, what's our next top 5 items that we want to look towards the future of the next 10 years and make a priority?
Is that something you've had internal discussion on planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning, we're always looking to see if we can improve the comprehensive plan, but that would be something more, I think, that town council would vote on as far as what the priorities are of the town. Because there's yearly priorities, and then you zoom out and, again, what did we accomplish over 10 years and how do we get from here to there?
Could we do another common meeting between us, planning commission and EDAC?
Yeah, the next meeting, I
That
believe,
really
was
works.
spoken for as far as agenda items, but September.
Yeah. But if you would like, we could look at September if you think that would be
Yeah.
official.
I think we should be doing that on a quarterly basis, really, because we really had fun that night. Everything was unanimous and it was exciting, frankly.
Yeah, if we all, maybe look at that list from the comprehensive plan and put thought into what the next 5 things could be. It looks like someone else already did that. And then I would recommend reading Trace's report to help guide you on that path from if it's feedback from the citizens as far as what they want. And we could get a very clear direction or not. I don't know.
Yep.
Just excuse me, a comment, but is this something perhaps that Parks and Rec could also, an exercise they could also go through?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And I think, Scott, we still need to coordinate a meeting with
We do, yeah. I want to try to organize maybe a lunch meeting with you and Eric.
Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, because comprehensive plan is meant to be not it's a living document that is guiding the
A living
town.
document, right.
And so it's meant to be changed and updated and help future residents and current residents understand where we are and where we want to be.
And where their opportunities are.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're looking at the top 5 list, I mean, from the comprehensive plan, but also what we have written on economic priorities, I think as a group, one thing I would love to see at the second half of the year is really kind of rooting ourselves and digging our teeth in the town budget, just from an economic perspective. And as everything's being planned out for 2027,
Right.
I mean, that's something I know myself, I really need to spend some more time and really dig down on homework. And maybe, this would help us really guide to make a really well thought out list and something that has, even further research behind it. With that being said, do you, so I don't know if this is for Scott or for Rachel, for us to find a way to coordinate discussion with our finance department to kind of in one of our future EDAC meetings to have, you know, a representative from the finance department to help us answer our questions, give us feedback on what they're seeing, just to kind of ground ourselves, because I think we have a lot of ideas, but we also have these numbers we got to continue to, you know, root ourselves in. And I just personally, from my understanding, I need to dig down in that one more time, you know, before we really aggressively start tackling other items.
That might be a good idea. I think that just really looking at those 5-year budgets, which I think they're
Yeah.
pretty easily understandable, I guess you could say. I mean, they're not like too complex that, you know, you need a finance director to really explain. I think if we all but we certainly could, you know, if we feel that we need that, we could do that, but Scott could probably answer most of our questions too.
And it's, so you have the 5-year list, but the reality is that we actually have a 10-year list, and then we have another list of unfunded, unprioritized projects that goes along with it. But keep in mind, when you look at the capital, you're going to see it all. So you're going to see street reconstruction, you're going to see vehicle replacement, you're going to see a whole lot of stuff on there, park improvements. It all kind of lives there. And I think it's good for you guys to take a look at all of that. But just the one thing I will say is that, number one, there's a lot of competition for the capital. Dura, I think, maybe is a little more in your wheelhouse. And then the other thing is just that regardless of what the committees recommend and put together, ultimately the council has to get together and prioritize and figure out, and not everything's gonna make it. And so but obviously, you know, if we had all the money in the world, we'd do all of it, but we can't.
So that's kind of like Dura would, like you said, is more of our wheelhouse, and maybe kind of focusing on that.
It is. Keep in mind that, so as on the 21st, as we go through the budget review, we're going to be making some recommendations on some items that are presently in Dura that we think need to be moved back to capital. And we think that there's funding in capital to do that. So that will be a discussion with council on the 21st. But there's not, given the purchases that we just made, there's not a lot of money left in Dura right now. But next year, I want to say we will have I think we're projecting about 2.5 million coming back into
Should be
Dura.
closer to the 2.5 million.
Yeah.
That should be what should be coming in.
Right.
2027.
Scott, when was that 5-year plan put together? How long ago are you?
They're a work in progress. We do every budget cycle. Like I said, we have different plans. My vehicle plan is a 30-year plan, the vehicle replacement,
Sure.
vehicle asset replacement.
Yeah.
But it's a living document that is reviewed every single year. And sometimes things that are on it get moved off it and back into the unfunded, and other things come in. And so depending on the discretion of council, it changes.
So it's revolving.
It is, yes. Yeah. But we've had it, we've always, for as long as I've been here, we've always had
Okay.
a 5-year plan. And like I said, the 5-year is what we typically present to the elected officials, but then we have plans to go much further than that.
Yeah.
Great.
So, you know, one of the things that, you know, that's in here that I passed out, it's the Dillon Business Incentive Program. I mean, is there any more definition of what it is and what the offers are going to be? Because it seems like that, you know, the town council wanted to move forward on it, but I'm not hearing anything.
So,
How do you
Eddie, there
apply
was-
for it? How do you work with it? You know, I have people coming into the office that want to do new businesses, some of them with real experience. The other ones, I kind of send them
Not,
off if they haven't had one before. And the basic interest is, what can we do to help new businesses open up? And one of the biggest issues is everything it has to do with tenant finishes has gone through the roof. I mean, per square foot tenant finish is just off the wall. And could that be an area where the incentive program could come in to assist with businesses that look like they could succeed?
No.
We talked about that.
We talked about it last night, regretfully, no. And so right now, legal is still doing an analysis of what program that we can offer. And right now, we're looking at the facade, but then at this group's last meeting, you talked about signage.
Yes.
And the legal felt like, and I'm going to let Ned jump in here in a minute, they felt like that reasonably could be added, but we're still kind of working with legal on that, regretfully. They have their hands full with a lot of different
And
stuff.
we went through this with Silverthorne too. So
Right,
the
yeah,
answer
so
was no.
we're pushing, but it's, again, legal has a lot of stuff that they're working on right now, but Ned, do you want to jump in or?
I think you covered it, Scott. I was just going to say, short of the tax rebate program that we might have.
Yeah.
that some businesses have elected to go through. I mean, that's another way to recoup funding over time, over a 10-year period.
Well, that's what Dura is all about, is recouping. It's an investment into the businesses in a return through the tax.
Right. And I guess the issue that I understand for the interior improvements is that doesn't meet the muster of the state statutes for urban renewal. And
Okay.
that's the issue. So exterior improvements have more of a public facing light improvement type of
Yeah, that's in here too.
That could be more.
so that's
Building
that's
owner.
more like what we think the attorney, where they're going to land, and hopefully we'll get a program soon that's identified. And then we have to see if we can fund it.
Where do we think that program's going to be, what it's going to be looking like on our next meeting, August 12th? Is that something that maybe we could parcel a little bit of time on our next meeting to kind of, have a moment to review those initial, I think, documents that were put together and
I don't know what time it is.
We have to talk to the town attorney and just see what their schedule is. And anyway, we can ask that question and just see where they're at. So.
with the last 5 minutes, before that kind of 7:00 deadline, we'd love to just kind of think about what we want to follow up on our August 12th meeting. I know it's a living, breathing meeting, so we can change items, but if we could maybe as a group have a quick discussion on what we would like, and maybe if council wants to chip in on also what they want to see us, if there's any time sensitive items that need to be discussed, because August 12th is getting close to the end of summer, so just like that. So I want to make sure we make the most of next month's meeting.
One thing that we didn't touch on, and we've been talking about this for a long time, is grant writing. And I understand that, the town doesn't have the budget for grant writing right now. And that might be worth looking into a little closer, because some expenses up front might lead us into 2027 projects that could be paid for, through grants. And we've been talking about grant writing for a very long time, and it'd be nice for us to keep that front and center if possible.
Yep.
And we are not grant writing experts, but we have been awarded grants. We go after them. We just don't have the time to find them.
Right.
If you guys can find them, we can find the time to work on them. So I'll just share that with you. If you can find something that you're like, that is going to really help the town, if they could go after
Well,
that.
the art, Silverthorne's art, it's incredible what's coming in. And it's not taking out of the town coffers. And that's exactly what the nonprofits are supposed to be doing. And frankly, we don't have any we had nonprofits, but that's all gone. And to turn that around, it's really valuable. And people want to give, they want to write checks.
Right.
And if you give them the opportunity to, and give them what they're looking for, you're gonna see checks rolling in here like you can't believe. I just, I work with Chris over in Vale. I mean, he wanted $17 million to do the Ford Amphitheater. It took less than 9 months. And that came in. And now he did have some, he got some funding, but a lot of it came from the wealth within that community. Well, that wealth over here is just, on a per capita basis, we're just as wealthy on a per capita basis.
So
No
what is
one's
that?
asking them or giving them the opportunities.
There's maybe two different worlds, though.
No, don't go there right now.
But what
Okay?
does that
I'm
look
just
like
saying the wealth is here.
Absolutely.
if, as far as like funding a project or you find a grant that's specific to a project? Like how
Yes,
do you?
let's say that you want to do the arts. I mean, the head of the state arts committee is Chris's husband. So, they're here. And now we have a state, this, who do we have that she's not able to run again? Yes, yeah. She's here. I mean, we have so many opportunities that all you have to do is ask and start forming these. And the next thing you know, it starts coming. Look outside. This place is incredibly beautiful. And to have the art come in, I'm not just talking, the mural thing is going on everywhere, okay? Look at things besides the mural. There's other types of art, and some of it more substantial and long lasting. All I'm saying is it's there. If we don't ask for it, you don't get. And so this committee here, like we did in Silverthorne, we worked really hard on getting that type of entity and that kind of volunteerism through the committees formed. And they're the ones that went out and asked for the monies for whatever projects that was designed. And it was amazing to see how much money came in.
So Eddie, to kind of connect these last three comments. So Ned, you're saying that if we find grants that are applicable to our town, your town staff has the ability to apply for those grants, and it's kind of EDAC can take on a little bit of responsibility of trying to help identify those grants, for my proper understanding.
Yeah, it would be very helpful.
Okay.
And yes, we do work on grants. John has been very successful with getting the electric vehicle charging
Yes.
grants. And so, we work for this town because we believe in it. And
Cool.
so we'll do what it takes, to try to make improvements. So yeah, we'll try to find the time to do that. If it's if we think it's a
If
good
it's an
fit.
appropriate fit,
I'm just going to add that there's obviously different kinds of grants, and we have, John's done a lot of those grants. Some grants are more complex, and sometimes what we'll do is we'll hire an outside consultant to put the grant together, but then, of course, that costs
Yeah.
money to do that. But we have to evaluate what the grant is, what are the requirements, how complex it is, and all that kind of stuff.
And then Eddie, to kind of sum up your point, you're trying to bring up that there is a huge another bucket for us to explore, and that's, forming committees, the power of nonprofits to attract grants, especially in the world of the arts per se, that we're just not capitalizing as a
Well,
Dillon community.
Art creates community.
Mhm.
No question about it. So I think one of the most fun one is looking at our pet dog over here.
Yeah.
Okay, Hasty. That whole community, everybody that lived around there was part of putting Hasty, raising money and finding the artist. But it went even further, went out to the search and rescue and to other entities out here. And the next thing you know, that part came around. And
So,
also the town was heavily involved.
so could we maybe parcel a little time on August 12th to maybe have a conversation on, how EDAC, how the town can help foster those, nonprofits, those groups
Sure.
to start tackling those items? Because this looks like we have our town routes that, EDAC can explore, and then maybe we can help support the non-town route.
I mean, there's a lot of it, just to be able to break it up.
Yeah.
That forming the committees is community. The committee/community is the same thing.
Don't want to discourage you from tackling this and having conversations about it, but I just wanted to mention that the A in PrAC is arts, and it is something that Parks and Rec is looking at. And they've gone as far as to draft a different, a public art policy that also is under review by the town attorney. But that is something that they're looking at. And Andre, maybe that's something that
Definitely.
when we meet with Eric, we can have that conversation about how these two groups work
Has that
together.
gone out to the community? Has anybody seen it? I haven't seen it.
No, we haven't gotten that far yet. We're waiting for legal review before we went any further with it. So,
Okay, yeah, let's pull those resources together. I mean, we all have the same ideas.
You know, to Eddie's point, years ago, I was involved with the town of Dillon very deeply on their arts community. And my company pretty much built every pocket park in this town out of a donation. So it came up with an idea, and then we had the town reach out to their contractors that they do business with. And you wouldn't believe what you can get in return for the work that the town gives to the local communities. Keeping money local goes a long way. And through that time, at the next meeting, I'll bring in the pictures from the first amphitheater concrete work that was ever completed.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
You guys might be. And back then, you know, you were able to purchase bricks with your name and family name.
And we
on it.
did, remember that?
And we spent a lot of money on this, you know, and everybody was really proud of it. What's interesting, not to get off track here, but it's too bad when they built a new amphitheater that all the people that donated money to the amphitheater back then, there wasn't a plaque made for all the initial donors. Because
But there,
that
but
was
the bricks got, you
tens of
replaced the
thousands of
bricks,
dollars.
which was great.
we replaced all the bricks. So they were originally tiles.
Yeah.
And you created the stencils that
Yeah.
set in the concrete, and they were tiles. And when all of that was redone, we grabbed all of that information and we made bricks. And so right outside the ticket booth are the original, are the bricks from the original donors. And then with the new amphitheater, we did that wall, that the wave wall that has the stainless steel panels on it. So that was for the reconstruct. But then
Yeah.
there's also a rock where the bricks are and I got to go back and look at it, but I believe it's from 1976, some donations that were made to the amphitheater even before I was with the town.
Yeah.
But all of that's been documented and it is down there.
Yeah, and so the Arts Committee is a very powerful committee in the community. And, you know, it goes from food service to it's a trickle down effect, and the town knows all the contractors, just like our geotech. You know, when it comes time for us to do an arts project, whoever we work with in geotech, they will donate their time for us so we can move the town forward.
Well,
Boy, we saw a lot of that, didn't we?
Yeah, those were the good days.
It wasn't.
People gave and gave and gave.
We all put that stuff together.
well,
Yeah.
it's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, so I think we got a lot of items discussed. Thank you everyone for their input. We will follow up with some emails on those formal recommendations before the appropriate deadline. But yeah, let's keep it going. Thank you.